If you find nutrition a little confusing in this world, I'm going to help you simplify it and give you an acronym, a word that you can think about every week just to simplify your nutrition practice. I hope this helps. So the S stands for seek consistency, not perfection. So in this day and age, we have to get everything perfect, right? We have to eat the perfect amount of macronutrients, micronutrients, we have to weigh our food, we have to get everything perfect for us to be healthy. But in the real world, it doesn't really work like that. And being perfect almost becomes more stressful than trying to get your nutrition right in the first place, right? Because you're stressing about every little minute detail in your health practice, in your nutrition practice. So what I tell clients, tell myself, is to just focus on being consistent most of the time and allowing some room for flexibility and enjoyment. Because like I said, the act of trying to be perfect is near enough impossible, right? We can't get it perfect to the absolute minute details because then it becomes stressful and we negate what we're trying to do with our nutrition practice, which is to make us as healthy as possible. So I think that for you, having that mindset of how can I be consistent? And this is consistent with, the things that you have to do, right? Eating whole foods, eating nutrient-dense foods. I'll save you time and I won't write everything out. But eating foods which provide as much vitality as possible. Consistent with those. Not aiming to have these 100% of the time, but then allowing room for foods you love. Allowing that little bit of dessert on the weekend. Allowing that glass of wine with your friends or family because you haven't seen them in ages. Allowing some room for some chocolate, you're going to enjoy a movie, bit of popcorn, whatever the thing is that you enjoy, allowing yourself that because now that feels like the shackles are off you. You don't feel you have to be carrying this perfect, stressful, overburdened mentality of getting your nutrition 100% perfect. Now you're thinking, I'm going to be consistent with the things I should be doing, but allowing room for the things I love and enjoy as well. That's a better mindset. And you'll end up being way more consistent with your nutrition journey than if you were to try to aim for perfection every single day. Cool. The I stands for include. I kind of said this in the first point, but it leads on to what I'm saying. Include the foods you love. Now, there's one main point that I want to make here. Imagine you were to tell a baby or a child. If you have children, you will know this really well. You cannot have that food. Do not have that food. I'll punish you if you have that food. What happens then? They want more because you've signaled to them you shouldn't have that. So their brain says, actually, that's intriguing to me. Maybe if I have it. Then the brain says, try it, go for it, go for it, go for it. We're the same. If you banish yourself, if you tell yourself you can never eat a certain food, you are awful for eating this food, you should never do that, you should feel shame, you should feel guilty, the brain just goes into overdrive of, I shouldn't eat that, I want to eat that. And then we get into this mindset of this binge eating mentality, and this can lead down that road, unfortunately, to eating disorders. So when you include the food you love, when you include all foods to a degree, not say you have to eat like this all of the time. Remember my first point, be consistent of what we know we should be doing. But when you include foods that you love in some points during your nutrition journey, like I said, it's like you get rid of the devil on your shoulder, so to speak, because you're not always having that in your mind of, I can't eat that, I am evil. I shouldn't eat that, I'll be cheating. I can't eat that, I'm an awful person. We get rid of those narratives that we place on ourselves for eating a food that we love, but we think we shouldn't. So when you allow room for all foods you enjoy, while being consistent on the foods that you should, there's less stress, there's less overwhelm, there's less guilt, and there's less likelihood of you leading down the path of that binge eating, disordered eating mentality. So include the foods you love. And how much you do this, completely up to you. It could be once a week, a couple of times a week. Whatever it looks like that you think that's the sweet spot for me, of consistency with what I should do, but then allowing rooms for the foods I love, Find that sweet spot for you, and that's going to be a great mentality. So include the foods that you love. Okay, M is mindful. Now this isn't necessarily mindfulness or meditation around food. This is more have a mindful eating approach. Create an experience with food. It's one of those things these days, I do this every day. I sit down to have dinner, I'm focusing on the next thing, I'm focusing on work, I'm focusing what just happened. And I rarely give myself that space to be mindful, just be in this moment and enjoy the experience of food. Think of hundreds, thousands of years ago, eating around the fire used to be an experience. We used to get the food, we then used to cook the food as a family, as a unit, as a clan. Then we used to eat together, tell stories, share wisdom, whatever it looked like. It was an experience, and we've lost that experience. I have lost that experience because we're always thinking of, I need to do this. Oh, they said that to me today. That's stressful. Oh, I've got to do that. Oh, I've got to run. I've got to do this tomorrow. Next week is coming up. And that actually becomes quite stressful because we never enjoy the food on our plate. And when you're mindful, you have better eating habits. You have better satiety because you choose slower. When you choose slower, it signals to the brain higher satiety. So you have more of a connection to your food, to your digestion, as one example. When you're mindful as well, it helps with digestion. When you're stressed, when you're upregulated, when you have a lot on, then you're eating food, wolfing it down, your digestion can't digest when it's in that stress state. Sympathetic is fight and flight, is on. Parasympathetic, which is calm, rest, digestion, is where we want to be aiming towards when eating. So it's good to have that mindful experience. Whether it is you having a 5-minute quick walk before you eat to just create that parasympathetic, that calming state, having that trigger from work, walk to dinner, putting your mindset in this mindful approach. Because it's easier said than done. You're working all day and then suddenly you're eating dinner. It's hard to transition from 1,000,000 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour. So you could have a trigger in between that time. When you're eating, try not to eat with distraction. Yes, if there's a TV on in the background, okay, cool. Have a conversation. Take your time. Have regular sips of water in between your meal. This is all you creating a mindful experience. And what this does is brings that connection back to the food on your plate and helps with every system of your body. It's a very different scenario, right? Wolfing it down, hurry, 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 got to do this after, boom, plate away, back to what I was doing. 2, okay, take my time, water, laugh, share stories, connect, chat, eat slower, better digestion. Very different experience for your body. So just try to be mindful. Cool. The next one is P. I actually just changed my mind as I was writing this. This was going to be prioritize protein. But I think a better one to speak about is prioritize density. So I was speaking about protein because protein is the most satiating macronutrient. So essentially it keeps you full for longer. But within that, so that has a high density, let's say. But within density, it isn't just protein, vegetables. Fruits and vegetables, they have high density. So I'm going to bracket it under prioritize density. And I kind of just spoke about that. But it's thinking of foods which satiate you, which keep you full for longer. Because I don't know about you, if I haven't had protein or I haven't had fruits and vegetables, my brain is always wanting to pick. It's always more-ish. It always wants, oh, I'm not that full, where's the next snack? Oh, I haven't eaten much today. Well, I've eaten a lot, but not much protein. Give me this, give me that. And as we know, we can overeat, we can lose track if our goal is fat loss. It can take us off path of where we want to go if we are always in that state of hunger because we're not getting enough density. And within that, it's you thinking protein with each meal, and it's you thinking fruits and veggies with those meals as well. And within that, you will have a high satiety. And with that, you're going to reduce your inclination to pick. You are going to stay fuller for longer. You're not going to be wanting as many meals in the day. You're going to save yourself a lot of time because cooking and preparing food and seeking food takes a lot of time out of the day. So this, again, this is going to be very congruent, especially for someone wanting to lose body fat, is having that high density. Fruits, vegetables, protein. Good fats as well. And I guess within that, or not I guess, I should speak about reducing, actually, sorry, I'll say this. This helps reduce your wantingness to eat ultra-processed foods. That's a better way of putting it. So just upping your protein in your fruits and vegetables tells your body, hey, we don't need the donut, we don't need the chocolate, we don't need the ice cream. Because I'm full, I'm satiated, I'm good. And if these were low, we all know, give me the donut, give me the crisps, give me the chocolate. So if that is important to you, as it should be for everyone, this can help reduce you wanting to pick for the foods which is hyper palatable, ultra processed. Okay, cool. L is learn about yourself. It's you getting to know yourself. It's you. I like to say this. Imagine, I don't know, when was social media invented? When was, I don't know. So let's be hyperbolic about it. 1,000 years ago, when there was no information, no social media, no phone, no way of communicating, and you were just put on planet Earth. How do you think you would gather information with how food makes you feel and what you should eat and what you shouldn't? You'd have to have a connection, right? You'd have to have a connection with nature. You'd have to have a connection with yourself. But these days, we're reliant on what other people are telling us. We're relying on people saying, no, you need to eat carnivore. No, you should be ketogenic diet. No, you should be doing this. No, you shouldn't eat after 8. No, you can't do that. Where does that leave us? We're now reliant on other people's information, which may work for them, and telling us what may work for us, or what really they're saying it will work for you. But everyone's so different. Everyone is so different in how they metabolize food, how they assimilate food, how they react to food, what food makes them feel great, what food makes them feel sluggish. People born in Alaska to people born in India, people born all over the world will have different nutritional profiles, let's say. So it's figuring out that. It's learning about yourself. It's learning, okay, do I need more protein? It's learning that food made me feel super tired. That's not for me. It's learning, yeah, that diet didn't work for me. I could not sustain it. It's too expensive. It's taking too much time out of my day. I'm busy enough. I can't sustain that. And it's you figuring out, that makes me feel amazing. That makes me feel energized. This diet, I think, you know what, this way of eating is really congruent to my lifestyle. So when you learn about yourself, you find out the truest source of information. You, not anyone else. It's what makes you feel good, what makes you feel sluggish, what works for you. And it's learning. It's an experiment. I'm doing this still every day. It's not like you do this once. It's a lifelong task, let's say. Like, for example, recently I've been having about 3 coffees. And I know that 2 coffees are probably my limit. When I have 3, I actually get more tired. I don't sleep as well. I am more dehydrated. I actually feel more stressed because caffeine is very stimulatory, right? It spikes up your HPA axis, which is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which revs you up. That's why you get that revved up, as well as the muting of adenosine. So caffeine essentially will jack me up, jacks everyone up. Then we tend to get this crash. But for me, if I have 3, that crash is really severe. So that's me learning 2 is good, 3, not so good. And that I've really only discovered that in the last month or so. So for example, I'm still learning. This isn't just do it once, learning about yourself. We're always changing. Our environments are changing. We're always adapting. lifestyle, everything around us is changing. But it's us learning about ourselves within that change, within the world that we live in. And isn't that such a better way to live? Finding out what works for you, not what someone else is telling you? I think so. Okay, last one. Exercise consistency. This isn't do you exercise consistently? Of course, do that as well. But in the context of nutrition, whatever this looks like, whatever way of eating makes you thrive, whatever prioritizing density looks like for you, whatever mindful eating looks like, whatever this looks like, including the foods that you love, and whatever seeking consistency, not perfection, looks like, the key word is to be consistent with that, is to adhere to these lifestyle changes. Because if we're not consistent, if you do it for a day, great, done it for a day. But you're not going to see tangible differences. If you do it for a week, again, that's great. Probably won't see too much. This and everything we do really wants to be something that we can be consistent with forever, really. Because then otherwise we're in this yo-yo dieting mentality. We're losing loads of weight, and then we're putting on weight because we're not consistent with a certain way of living. We are going between feeling super guilty about everything to feeling great, and then this yo-yoing. So it's all about consistency. It's all about being consistent in what you set out, because then this is longevity. This is sustainability. And this is the key word. Any practice that we do, movement practice, mindfulness practice, sport practice, anything, nutrition practice, there has to be consistency for us to see the difference in our lifestyle and for us to carry this with us forever. Not just a week, not just 2 weeks, not just 3, not just 4, literally for our lifetime. Then again, that's less stressful, isn't it? Because we're not worried about, in 4 weeks, I know I'm going to give up. In 4 weeks, I know I'm going to put the weight back on. We're not thinking about that. Of course, life is never linear. Life is random. It's not just going to be consistent every day. I'm happy. Life will happen. Things will happen. Stress will occur. You'll put on weight. You'll lose weight. Of course, that's going to happen. That is life. But if you can be as consistent as possible, those life happenings won't feel as drastic because you know what you need to do, you know the tools in place, and you're going to turn up every day with the mindset of being consistent. Life will happen, of course, like I said, but you doing your best here, you got a lifelong practice, not a practice just for 2 weeks. So I hope that's helpful. I mean, there's so many other things that we can talk about, but as a simple word that you can carry with you during your day, during your week, I think this will be a good start. So I appreciate your time. If you enjoyed today, please drop me a comment, let me know what you thought. And please subscribe. I'm going to be really driving the YouTube home this year. Little less consistent over the last 2 weeks. Wasn't as consistent, but picking it back up. So thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed today.